Hello guys, in this video we will see how we can use the AutoMapper in ASP.NET Core application. What is AutoMapper? AutoMapper is a simple C# library that helps to transform one object into another object. This transformation is possible through less configuration based conventional object to object mapper library. Advantage of this library is to make sure that we can hide the actual model from our ASP.NET Core application and corresponding properties from that model by creating the mapper for them. So to the client who is requesting to our ASP.NET Core application, we can show only the properties from the map object rather than the actual model object. Main reason behind using AutoMapper is to make sure that we can hide the important properties of the core object from showing them directly to the client. This makes sure that like we are protecting our main domain object model from the direct access. Let's take an example over here. So I'm already having an ASP.NET Core application, and I do have the model that is employee.cs. So here we have employee number, employee name, DPD name, designation, address, and salary. We have this. Now address is of the type address object here, and I do have this address object with the details of the address over here. So building or society name, flat number, area, city, all that, and then the toString method is been overridden where we are returning the concatenated value of these properties. This is what is it. So our employee object is having the property of the type address here. So this means that like the employee object, every employee data that we are going to store into the employee object is going to have this address details. That's what it is. Now we are gonna add the employee controller, and then through this employee controller, when I'm gonna make the GET request, I do not want to pass the data to the client, that is the details of the address properties like this. Instead, I want to show the filtered data over here, and this is where that I'm gonna do it. So let me run this application first. Right, this will be loaded into the browser, and I'm going to make a GET request to the employee controller, and here I'm showing the employee data, that is the MP name, DPT name, designation, right, and directly the address. I'm not showing any other information, right? So we are well protecting our core domain model over here. So how this is happening? AutoMapper is used for such type of applications. So let me go to the code here, and I'm going to show you the package. So if I take you to the NuGet.org here, right, and if I search for AutoMapper, so I'll say here, this is what the package is, right? Here the description you'll find that it's a simple little library built to solve the complex problems to getting rid of the code for mapping. So earlier we used to write the separate mapper code explicitly, but now with the help of this mapper we are going to do this easily. So we can directly add the package over here from the manage NuGet package, right? So that I have already done, and it is there in my project. Now, what is the offering from this? So here, to use this mapper, the first thing that for showing the data to the client, I have created the view model object. So this is the object which I'm going to map with my employee object. So here I have EMP name, DPD name, designation and address. I have only this. Okay, right. So my view model object, I'm calling this as view model because this is what the data that I want to show this to the customer or to the request end user in short. And now for the sake of mapping, what I have is that in my application I have a mapper folder, and there I have the employee profile.cs, and here the class employee profile that is derived from the profile object. This profile object is coming from AutoMapper. What it says, it provides a name configuration for maps. Okay, so what we can do is that now here we can basically map one object to another object. In short, we can map our domain model object with this view model. So this is a create map method that we have, and this is a generic method. It has having two types, the source and the destination. Source is my actual model object, and the destination is the view model object with which the mapping is going to take place. So here we see that, right? If I show you this here, okay, so we have the T source, T destination, and then now the mapping has been done through the for member method, where the destination property is been mapped to the source property like this. So from member, destination member, or here map from the source. So this code represent how the mapping is being taken place from the source property to the destination property. Now this is important over here. I say here from member dest, or here the address. This is the property address from the view model over here, and this is supposed to map with the address property, which is the complex property of my employee class. Have a look over here. This is a complex property address, and this is having this much of the methods, oh sorry, this much of the property. So here I do have the toString method that has been overridden. So how the mapping is been implemented, have a look over here. The mapping is been implemented like this: from member dest.address map from address.toString. So what is going to happen is that this is going to call the toString method from the address class, and then it's going to provide me the concatenation of all the properties. So this is what the profile object is. This is what the profile object that has been created over here, right? Then, so this is the heart of the entire implementation altogether, right? Mapping it. Now, right now, this is what is been done only for read purpose, means get request. But if at all we are going to go for the post request, what we can do is we can also say here the reverse map over here. With the help of this reverse map, what we can do is that we can even go for the write operation altogether. Means if the end user or the client is making the post request, then that post request will be definitely with the help of this employee view model object, it will be mapped to this employee. This is called as reverse map. By default, create map is for read and the reverse for write. Okay, so I'm not doing that right now over here. Okay, so now in my project, I also have a database folder there. I'm avoiding the unnecessary database call here. So I have some hard-coded values in employees DB, the class which has been derived from employee DB, and then I have some hard-coded data here. Okay, so if you see that every employee has the address details, right? That's there. Well, so now the important thing is that like how we are going to send a response back to the client. So over here, I'll take you to the controller. That is my employee controller. This employee controller is constructor injected with my AutoMapper. AutoMapper, this is a contract interface that redefine the mapping here. Okay, I also have an employee service class here. So this is my service folder, employee service class, where I have a method which is going to give me the employees, okay, which is returning all employees, which I have hard coded in my DB, which I have shown you before some time. So now let me go back to the controller over here, right? So the mapper is being injected, and then we do have the get method. Here I say that employees is equals to service dot get employees, and then here I have mapper dot map, the method which is going to do the necessary mapping. So what it is doing is that it is going to map my employees, which is my list of employees, right, to the employee view model object, because we have already created the profile. So this IMapper will read the profile for the current assembly or the current application, and then it's going to do the mapping of our actual domain model to the view model, or ultimately the mapped object. So how is this happening? How is this happening? So for that purpose, I'll take you to the program.cs. This is what my program.cs is. And here, the heart of the implementation. I say that builder.services.add AutoMapper. We will get this add AutoMapper when we are going to make use of the right the IMapper. So this is going to register the AutoMapper right into the dependency container, and here we say that type of program.cs over there. So what it is going to do is that it is going to make sure that whatever is been there under this, whatever the objects, whatever the services which are there, that will be activated through this program. Under this program class, they will be used for the mapping. So now here this add AutoMapper, what this is going to do is that this is going to resolve the IMapper injection, and this IMapper injection is going to provide me the access to this map method, and then whatever the actual domain object which is returning the data, that will be mapped to this employee view model. So let me put a breakpoint on this, also on the constructor over there, and let me run this. Okay, so let this be executed. I'm going to make a call to the gate right here, and IMapper. Right, so this is AutoMapper.mapper, right? It is using the mapper configuration over there, where under the program.cs, whatever the profile classes are there, those will be mapped. So here I'll say F10 get method and the mapper. This is going to take place here, and then I'm going to get only those data from the view model. See here that the address, we are getting the concatenated values for that. This is the advantage of it, right? The mapper, AutoMapper in ASP.NET Core. Advantage of going for add mapper is there in the clean architecture. So where we hide the domain objects, they are the core object of the application, which has some core domain specific properties. We don't expose the data from these properties or these objects to the client. Instead, with the help of this mapper, which we have implemented over here with the profile, we are able to perform the mapping, right? So this is the advantage of the mapper is there. So I have already written the complete article on this on the webnethelper.com. This is what my website. Okay, I have already written that. Oops. Webnethelper.com. Okay, and I can search here for AutoMapper. Here it is. So I have explained all the steps of working with it. Okay, all the steps of are there. So right, so you can go through this article. So webnethelper.com, and then that I already have the link over there where the git code of this can also be seen. Okay, well guys, so implement this beneficial for your clean architecture. Thank you very much. Yeah.